The control mechanism for the mark of the beast is already here, and the internet plays a central role in tracking of the mark of the beast. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. In the scripture, we see that the mark of the beast is given to both rich and poor. In the sustainable development, the income inequality, or the gap between the rich and the poor, is what is described here. We have been covering how the sustainable development through the global government is the policy and framework for the introduction of the mark of the beast. Goal number 1, no poverty. End poverty in all its forms everywhere. Eradicating poverty in all its forms remains one of the greatest challenges facing humanity. UN Development Program. Ultimately, they will introduce the mark of the beast as an excuse to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor and to end poverty. The global ID being tracked through artificial intelligence in the global internet will be the mark of the beast framework. Goal 16. Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. Goal 16.9. By 2030, provide legal identity for all, including birth registration. sustainabledevelopment.un.org. The global internet will be used as framework to track this global ID. Goal number 9. Build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. 9C. Significantly increase access to information and communications technology and strive to provide universal and affordable access to the internet in least developed countries by 2020. UN.org. Sustainable development at the center of the 10th Internet Governance Forum. Quote, less than 2 months ago, world leaders adopted the visionary 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Our challenge now is to implement this blueprint for a better future. Information and communication technologies and the internet can empower this global undertaking. End of quote. Said UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Quote, evolution of internet governance, empowering sustainable development, end of quote, is the overarching theme of this year's forum. With the adoption of the Sustainable Development Agenda, the 10th IGF presents an opportunity to foster discussions on internet governance and identify means to increase internet connectivity for all stakeholders. The global internet is rapidly being pushed like never seen before in history. OneWeb.world. Progressive pitch. Our vision is shared and supported by the United Nations International Telecommunications Union. Global citizenship in space and on Earth. OneWeb understands space is a shared natural resource that must be protected like any other. We are passionate about preventing debris creation, respecting existing space assets, and ensuring a safe and sustainable space and Earth environment for the future. OneWeb is promoting a global satellite network to integrate all people on the planet into the internet in order to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor.
Talk to me about who this is going to help, because I get the sense that this is targeted after people in some of the most remote locations around the world who are frankly in the most need of being connected.
That's the primary mission, is to enable affordable access into those remote regions. The fundamental issue is the current technologies, the cable and the fiber infrastructure, cost a lot of money to string from telephone pole or to trench out from the cities into the rural areas. And there needs to be a technology, and that's what this is, an enabling technology to allow the current operators, the mobile operators and other communications companies, to bring this connectivity to these people in the rural areas at an affordable price.
And I think together we can create something which will enable people, some of the 3 billion people who don't have internet or Wi-Fi access to get it.
Obviously, Richard, this is a business venture, right? I mean, the expectation is that it will eventually be profitable, but also just on a societal impact scale. What do you see in terms of the ability of this to help close the wealth gap, for example?
I think it could dramatically help close the wealth gap. If you're out in the rural part of Africa and you have a mobile phone or you have the internet, with the internet you can educate your children, with a mobile phone, you can start a business. And I think you then become on a much more equal level playing field with somebody else who has a mobile phone or internet access or Wi-Fi access. And that's, that's the important breakthrough.
CNN.com. Google, Facebook, SpaceX, OneWeb plan to beam internet everywhere November 9th, 2015. About 57% of the world's population is offline, mostly because of unavailable internet in poor or rural countries. The United Nations set a goal of getting that number down to 50% by the end of 2020. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg has a goal of, quote, connecting everyone, end of quote, via internet, and is, quote, one of the fundamental challenges of our generation, end of quote, he said. Internet access, he believes, could end extreme poverty. As the UN puts it, quote, in many of the world's poorest countries where broadband could potentially have the greatest benefit in terms of bridging development gaps, end of quote. Internet.org by Facebook. The more we connect, the better it gets. 2/3 of the world is not connected to the internet. One.org is also promoting working towards eradicating poverty through promoting global internet. ConnectTheWorld.one.org. Quote, I call on leaders and innovators from all countries, industries, and communities to work together to make universal internet access a reality as promised in the new global goals. End of quote. The global government continues to promote this narrative. InternetSociety.org. Global Internet Report 2015, Mobile Evolution and Development of the Internet. In addition to the mobile internet, enabling users to connect to the internet using smart devices, wireless technology enables smart devices to become part of the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is also known as M2M, or machine to machine. Involves both everyday and industrial objects, such as watches, keys, household appliances, vehicles, machinery, and buildings to be embedded with chips and sensors, allowing them to think and to feel and to talk with each other, communicate with people, and enable us to monitor and control them anytime and anywhere. It is expected that eventually 99% of everything produced will be connected to the internet. In particular, based on the functions built into the smart devices, anyone carrying a smart device is potentially part of the worldwide network of sensors that can gather information based on their surroundings and aggregate them into accurate information about health, traffic, and even weather. While early smart city developments used fixed technologies, mobile is becoming increasingly popular due to a number of benefits it has beyond other communication channels. The popularity of mobile allows for more citizens to be involved both in data gathering and accessing the smart city services using their existing devices and access. Mobility allowing service to be delivered to citizens anytime and anywhere rather than when users are at a fixed terminal. The inbuilt features of smartphones allowing them to be used as a network of sensors providing information based on the location of the user. Accenture, the Internet of Me. Accenture.com. As everyday objects and experiences become digitized, new frontiers of individualization are created. Welcome to the Internet of Me.
Well, internet surveillance will have no borders if the United Nations gets its way. Members of the United Nations International Telecommunications Union have agreed to work toward putting in place standards for the internet that would allow eavesdropping worldwide.
So we have to shape an international order that can meet the challenges of our generation. The international order we seek is one that can resolve the challenges of our times.
It's also imperative that in implementing President Obama's vision for the world, that we join together to augment our message to the world. It is defined by leadership on life-threatening issues like climate change.
ICTs, or Information and Communication Technologies, are essential for the achievement of the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. An ambitious action plan for people, prosperity and the planet, the 17 Sustainable Development Goals aim to eradicate poverty and strengthen universal peace through collective partnerships, promoting economic growth, social inclusion and environmental sustainability.
People everywhere can reap the benefits of connectivity. Let us empower individuals with these transformative technologies so that they can advocate and innovate for our common future.
This is about us. All of us. Right now, a couple billion of us have access to the internet, and amazing things have come from it. So what happens when the rest of us get access? It doesn't get twice as good. It gets like a bazillion times as good. Imagine it, for the first time in history, humanity firing on all cylinders. Everyone, everywhere. New voices, new dreams, new inspirations. And here's the thing, we can do it. It starts up here at 60,000 feet, with planes powered by the sun, opening up the internet to people everywhere. So what happens now when we all have the internet? Who knows? That falls to us. All of us.
My news, my music, my world, my way. Consumers expect a lot from digital experiences. Now companies are planning to raise the stakes. The goal? A digital fabric of ultra-personalized experiences that surround and delight customers like never before. Digital is extending way beyond laptops and smartphones. Companies are digitizing things that touch our lives in exciting new ways and entirely new places. Clothes now monitor our health. Cars can adapt to our driving habits, then adjust our thermostats, appliances, and security systems on the drive home. And stadiums can alert us to the shortest lines with personalized discounts on our favorite snacks. The shape of this new Internet of Me and the value it will generate is still up for grabs. The winners will capture customer mindshare through engaging, exhilarating experiences and maintain their trust while doing so.
Accenture.com. Engaging the digital consumer in the new connected world. The consumer electronics industry is at an inflection point. With the Internet of Things rapidly becoming a reality and devices connecting every aspect of consumers' lives, the shift to a new connected world signals another tidal wave of industry transition. New findings from the, quote, 2015 Accenture Digital Consumer Survey, end of quote, indicate that consumers find smart devices increasingly relevant to their lives and are inspired by the possibilities of the connected world. CIO.com. Accenture invests in artificial intelligence research and development November 5th, 2015. Accenture says it is committing a significant portion of its global research and development to artificial intelligence and is opening a new Accenture Technology Lab and Center for Innovation in Dublin, Ireland. The team will use the grant to explore the interface between humans and machines, using cognitive analysis to better understand how both can collaborate and interact effectively. Accenture says it is committed to infuse artificial intelligence across the Technology Labs network. The labs will collaborate with other Accenture teams and new partners in the startup ecosystem to achieve the following. Create more intelligent tools by teaming with Accenture Digital to advance capabilities in cognitive computing, machine and deep learning, natural language processing, data augmentation, and predictive analytics to help clients become an insight-driven enterprise. Integrate and apply artificial intelligence into Accenture operations solutions that improve both front and back office operations, including customer support, procurement, supply chain, and warranty services. Embed artificial intelligence capabilities into architectures, tooling, and service management analysis conducted by Accenture Technology. Design and scale artificial intelligence capabilities for Accenture Consulting around the world across multiple industries, including healthcare, public safety, and financial services. The Accenture Corporation has been working with the World Bank and the United Nations on the Identification for Development program in order to track everybody on the planet with biometrics. The Accenture Corporation is tracking the refugees in the camps through this biometric tracking system. The global internet is also being suggested to be implemented at the refugee camps. PopularScience.com. Facebook CEO tells UN that global internet should start in refugee camps. September 28, 2015. Zuckerberg actually spoke before the UN twice on Saturday, once before the Private Sector Forum and then again to the UN Sustainable Development Summit, to state that internet access has become a universal right of world citizens, continuing his history of lobbying for worldwide connectivity. Quote, "When communities are connected, we can lift them out of poverty," end of quote, Zuckerberg said. Quote, "We can and must do more," end of quote. Zuckerberg said that the first priority in connecting the world is to start with refugee camps. which have recently put extreme poverty in the public eye. The UN has more directly fallen in line with Zuckerberg's idea of the future, adding a specific target to connect every world citizen by 2020. Quote, "There are more than 4 billion people who need to be connected," end of quote, he said in a video announcing the Internet.org platform. Quote, "And if we can connect them, then we'll raise hundreds of millions of people out of poverty," end of quote. The catchy, user-friendly themes of Windows are being used as familiar coloring schemes for the sustainable development. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are heavily involved with the Global Internet Agenda, one.org. The Connectivity Declaration demanding Internet access for all and implementation of the global goals. This is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. GatesFoundation.org. Global development, financial services for the poor. Our goal to help people in the world's poorest regions improve their lives and build sustainable futures by connecting them with digitally based financial tools and services. Bill and Melinda Gates are also involved with the BetterThanCash.org. The Better Than Cash Alliance is a partnership of governments, companies, and international organizations that accelerates the transition from cash to digital payments in order to reduce poverty and drive inclusive growth. Based at the United Nations, the Alliance has over 40 members, works closely with other global organizations, and is an implementing partner for the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion. The Alliance is funded by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Citi Foundation, Ford Foundation, MasterCard, and Visa Incorporated. The United Nations Capital Development Fund serves as the secretariat.
The goal in the transition from cash to digital payments is building a strong digital payments ecosystem. That means putting in place the technology, the partnerships, and the rules needed for digital payments to operate effectively. When the system works, more people will use it. When enough people use it, a tipping point is reached where it becomes harder to stay outside the digital payments system. Let's look at who plays a part. Governments set digital payments regulations and enforce them. They can also lead by example by making and receiving payments like salaries, pensions, and taxes electronically. Financial institutions issue accounts that enable electronic transfers. Payment companies authorize and settle transactions between payers and payees. Telecommunication companies transmit transactions between devices. They provide electronic channels to access financial services, and businesses and individuals make and accept electronic payments for the things they buy and sell. Building a strong digital payments ecosystem means linking these people and organizations in a way that shares the benefits of digital payments efficiently. To do this, government, business, development organizations, and individuals need to work together from the start. The Better Than Cash Alliance is supporting this cooperation to build stronger, inclusive digital payments ecosystems and bring the benefits of digital payments to more people around the world.
The cashless society is getting closer. Apple Computers has now declared that your kids will not know what money is. Tim Cook, the chief executive of Apple, has made a bold prediction about the death of cash as he promotes the new Apple Pay alternative.
I think in today's modern world, it's hard to imagine what it would be like to carry only cash and to have only cash.
There are significant sums of money flowing from governments and development organizations in the form of distribution of benefits. If we were to transition these programs to distributing these benefits in the form of electronic payment, we have the opportunity to bring this population into the financial mainstream.
We believe that creating an electronic financial services infrastructure for the poor can greatly improve their lives.
We hope the Alliance will help amplify the opportunity that's there for many, many more people to be reached through formal access to financial services.
The Better Than Cash Alliance will offer technical assistance. There will also be a system of peer-to-peer learnings where governments who have already transited to electronic transfers will bring their knowledge and experience to the governments who are starting the process.
Eventually, the transition from cash to electronic payments will have massive social impact.
And if we can commit to moving our payments onto these types of more modern systems, we can really be the tip of the arrow, helping an entire industry shift the way it does its work. We can start to help billions of people move out of extreme poverty.
Today, this knowledge continues to change the world. Thanks to optical fiber technology, a faster and more reliable internet can be delivered to every corner of the globe. In the information age, broadband internet has become a key driver for sustainable economic development and job creation. It is an important foundation for the goals of reducing poverty and increasing shared prosperity.
If we were building a financial system from scratch today, we'd do it on a digital platform. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury of starting from scratch. So we have to show not only the vision to plan for this better digital future, but also the wisdom to manage a secure transition from the current system. It's a big responsibility, but with more than 2.5 billion people not able to get at formal financial services, the opportunity compels us to do it. Success will require a paradigm shift in the way we conceive of the financial system, from cash-based to digital. You're on the cusp of another breakthrough innovation, including the poorest in a financial system that increases instead of limiting the value of their assets. Transforming the underlying economics of financial services through digital currency will help those who live in poverty directly. I see two priorities for the immediate future. First, we need to drive the policy changes to make sure the poor can get engaged at this level. And second, we need a measurement system that tracks the progress towards drawing people in, not just to have accounts, but to really benefit from financial activity.
The mark of the beast is what will unify the digital payment ecosystem mentioned in the video. This is what the scripture refers to when it says that no man might buy or sell without that mark. MintPayments.com, a crystal ball look into the future of payment technologies. Number 2, the one-chip rule under your skin. Imagine if we didn't need to carry a wallet around with us ever. Well, in the future, it will be possible for us to have a custom microchip implanted in our body that stores all our personal details. With a small microchip, the many inconveniences associated with forgetting our wallets will be erased forever, with almost limitless storage and capabilities all in one. Key partners include Microsoft. With the concern for more secure payment methods, Accenture.com is pushing for more of the biometrics integration into the payment method. They are centralizing the biometric implants and tracking for the security measures to be used within the payment methods and identification in the internet. Accenture.com. Most consumers open to password alternatives to protect their security on the internet, Accenture research finds July 13, 2015, signaling a potential change in widespread practice. Most consumers consider usernames and passwords cumbersome and are interested in using alternatives to them to protect their security on the internet, according to new research from Accenture. Quote, as hackers use more sophisticated and less obvious methods, passwords are no longer seen as the definitive answer to the security question, end of quote, Murdoch said. Quote, traditional one-step passwords are now being matched with alternative methods using biometric technologies such as fingerprint recognition and two-step device verification. Within the next few years, we are likely to see many more consumers embracing these and other alternative methods, end of quote. Security firms are also moving in this direction. dailymail.co.uk. Would you be microchipped? Kaspersky implants chip in man's hand that could one day be used to pay for goods and even unlock his home, September 5, 2015. The director of Kaspersky's global research team in Europe said, quote, the next logical step is not to stop at wearables such as smartwatches, but to go under the skin to enable more functionalities, end of quote. Microsoft is also working on the biometrics. Firstpost.com. Microsoft working on a password-free world, says Nadella, to ramp up use of biometrics for security November 6, 2015. Quote, one of the biggest security issues is passwords. One of the things that we are working on is a world where passwords are not going to be the ones that you know can get hacked, but you really have other biometrics that really help us secure our computing interfaces, end of quote. Microsoft Corporation Chief Executive Satya Nadella said, "The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are being pushed. The calls for global identification through a sensor in the World Bank tracking biometrics for the United Nations Global ID is moving into the global internet for the platform of the Mark of the Beast. The artificial intelligence will be integrated into all aspects of this biometric database tracking in every aspect of your life." Revelation chapter 6 verse 2. "And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth. And there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image." Believe on the Lord Jesus and do not take the mark of the beast.
Yeah.